Hello, Gary here. It's time to play with some Linux stuff in Chapter 3. So I've got a terminal set up here. And so I'm in my Debian GNOME desktop. And I do a lot of stuff from the command line. See, if I scroll in my X term here, I'm calling it an X term instead of just a terminal because this is a terminal program running in an X window environment managed by GNOME. And here I was playing around with a programming project I'm on. And here's some CS140 commands I was running. And I was comparing some files and adding files. So chapter 3 is about playing with files and directories. And you're going to use a program called script, which should be part of your regular installation here. So if I do, let's say, which script here, it will tell me that in user bin, there is a script function. And if I do a man on script, it'll tell me more about what script does. So it makes TypeScript of a terminal session, and TypeScript is a format of a text file. And what it's going to do is it's going to record anything I do with standard in, which is typing on the command line, and then standard out is anything that is returned when you type a command. And let's see, what else do we need to know here? Let's scroll down. Notice it says Q to quit. It's probably using less here to read the file. And we've got append is a useful option we'll use. So if you use script to record some stuff and then you got to quit and do some other stuff and do some more tomorrow, then you can just stop script from running, and then you can run the command again with an append to the file that you were working on. Which other commands? Not too big a deal. And let's see, anything else I need to know here? When you're in a less reader, which is what this is here, a slash will let you search. Vim or VI works the same way. So I want to search for quit. Oops, if I could spell it right. Go. It doesn't have it in there. All right. Recollection is quit is escape. Let's run and see what happens. So I'm going to switch directories. So if you do a CD, that'll take you to your home directory. Print working directory, PWD. You see I'm in home, Gary. And I have, let's do an ls to list the files here. So in the book, they reference, I think this is chapter 4, a file called alphabet they play with, and a file called counts, and a file called numbers and random. And then I've got the CS140 output file I asked you to make in this week's reading assignment. So let's look in there. Don't forget about tab to autocomplete, less typing. So there's my script output for chapter 3 and chapter 4. So let's go take a look at those. Now, instead of looking at those here, I just want to demonstrate how the output of script works. So script's recording whenever I run it, and the file gets stored in a standard file, or it gets stored in a file that I reference. So I'm just going to come over here. So this terminal, I'm scrolling and nothing happens. Just bring up a new terminal for fun and blow it up a little bit. All right. So there's nothing in this X term. So I have 3 different tabs, 3 different X terms going right now. If I go to cat, which is the reader I recommend you use to see script files, otherwise they look kind of weird because of the TypeScript format. And then that was in my CS140 output folder. And in there, I had a chapter 3 folder. Now, again, recall, I'm scrolling. There is nothing in this window. This window, scroll, nothing happens. This window, scroll, I got a lot of commands in my history in this particular X term. Okay, so clear X term. So I'm going to hit enter now. And it looks like there's a lot of stuff in the terminal. Now, these aren't actual commands. This is just scripts recording of stuff I did. So right here, the first thing, I just typed this command right here, cat, and cat said it's going to read this file. It's using colors to do so. You see things are colorized, kind of like my original prompt. And this is just text right here. This isn't an actual command, it's recordings of the command. So I typed ls the other day. Notice that's a different set of stuff than was in there when I just did ls. Down here today, right? Slightly different set of files because it's a few days later. I did pwd, I did an ls-l the other day when I was playing. So I'm running commands that were listed in chapter 3. So as I'm reading chapter 3, I'm running script, and script is recording what I'm doing, and it's recording whatever I type, and it's recording whatever the standard output is. And standard output means it's displayed in your terminal. There are also error messages that aren't necessarily displayed in the terminal. Okay, so I didn't do a lot with script. It looks like I didn't finish chapter 3, and then here's the end of it there. I'm just going to clear my window here. And so that pretty much erases from the terminal what I did, but it's still stored in memory. So if I look up my bash history later, I'll still see it. All right, so again, your goal here is just play around, get comfortable typing commands. There's a list of commands in your book. So you're just going to walk through chapter 3 and type the recommended commands. And you're going to do that with script running. So let's check out some stuff with script running. So I'm going to do script. And if I run script on its own, it's going to output to some file in the directory I'm in now. So I can't remember what it calls it. It depends on your distribution. All right, so script started, output log. So let's see. I'm going to do an ls on the root directory. I'm going to do an ls on my home directory. Now, if you're not in your home directory, but you want to see what's in it, that would be /. We'll show you what's in your home directory. So since I'm in my home directory, that's the same thing as me just typing ls right now. And let's suppose that in the chapter, the CS140 output, I need another folder. So that's mkdir to make a new folder. And I'm going to put it inside my CS140 folder, and I'm going to call it projects just for fun. So now if I do an ls on CS140, I should see there's now, in addition to the chapter 3 text file from script and the chapter 4 text file I started, there's projects. Let's see, what else should we do? Let's do a ps-a capital A, and let's search for, see if any SSH stuff is running in the background. And I forgot to type grep. Grep is a searcher that you'll learn about in chapter 3 and/or 4. And it says, yeah, there's an SSH agent running, a couple of them, and there's the SSH daemon running right now. All right, so I'm gonna stop that. So let's see, how do we get out? Control C, new, escape, new. Darn, I forgot how to get out of script. Happened to me the other day too. Sorry, I don't use this very much. Seemed like that was the obvious choice. Control X. Nope, not that either. Interesting, Gary. It wasn't in the man page. All right, I'll just do a quick internet search here. Linux script quit. Oh yeah, exit, duh. Okay, script is done. All right, so now there's a folder called TypeScript that wasn't there before. To double check, that wasn't there before. I'm going to do an ls-l, which is a long listing, more details. And so I can see that was created at 1020. It's now 1020. If I do an ls-l-t, t is sort by timestamp. So that should be the newest file when I sort by timestamp. And if I do, let's clear my screen again. So scrolling, nothing happens. And if I do a cat TypeScript, that will show me all the commands I typed and their standard output. It doesn't actually run them, it just displays them on the screen. If I try to do an ls on that file, then it's going to say, hey, this is a binary file. You sure you want to see it anyway? Oh yeah, let's do it. All right, and there's the TypeScript formatting in the background. Cat reads it correctly, ls does not know how to read it. Quit less, Q is quit unless. So some programs you get out with a Q for quit, some programs it's an exit, like script, some programs it's an escape, it just kind of depends on the program. Sometimes it's the word quit, Q-U-I-T. Unfortunately, there's no standard way to exit out of a program in a terminal. Common ones again are Q, the word quit, the word exit, escape, sometimes Control-C, and sometimes Control-X. Fun stuff to get used to. All right, so alternatively, so what I'm going to do next is I am going to rename that. To rename a file, it's MV for move. So I'm going to move that TypeScript file into my CS140 output folder, and I'm going to call it ch3 take2.txt, because I already have a chapter 3 folder, a file in there I don't want to delete. Okay, now if I want to continue editing, adding stuff to that particular script file, then I would do this, script-a, and then go grab that file, CS140, chapter 3. Okay, so now it's going to put whatever I type in there. So let's see, what else should we do? If I do an ls on my home directory, these files here, alphabet, counts, numbers, random, so I'm just going to do an ls-t on this. I made those last week when I was playing around with chapter 4 stuff, and they're just floating in my home directory, which is bad. So I'm going to put them in a better place. So move can be used to rename files in the same place or a different place, or you can actually put them somewhere else. So I'm going to do a move. And I have some other text files. So if I did something like move star.txt, it's going to move anything that ends with .txt. So that would be those files plus my Bob's key file, which I don't want to move that one. So I can't do that here. I got to be specific. So I'm just going to move them. Let's move alphabet. And we're going to put that in CS140 output in my projects folder. And then I'm just going to repeat that with random. Oops. And then we'll do that with numbers and counts. And they're now gone from my home directory, and they should live in my CS140 output projects. All right, and everything I just did should be recorded in that file. So if I exit script now, and then clear the screen just to be sure, it's optional, and then do a cat on my CS140 output folder, and I want the chapter 3 take 2. I can see there's now all those other commands that I typed here, like all those move commands that I just typed. And again, remember, I cleared my screen and it's showing me everything that's in there. So the A option that I typed here, that right there is part of the it's the append option to continue putting script stuff in another file. All right, so anything else you need to know? I think that's it for chapter 3 for the moment. So chapter 3 has a bunch of commands you can play around with. You're going to use script to record them into a file. Once you've finished playing with all of the commands that you're supposed to, then in the course, you're going to then upload that along with your outline of chapter 3. And there'll be something similar for chapter 4. All right, that's it for now for chapter 3. Get busy, have fun. Don't wait till the last minute to do this. Bye-bye.